What's up, everyone? I am back. I'm doing a song today that I don't know that I'd say it was requested, but it was mentioned to me about Khomeini. The song is called "DICTATORIE AMAMEH," which means dictatorship of turban, or turban dictatorship, by SHAHIN NAJAFI. And my coffee is brewing. I'm gonna go grab it. Go. Today I am drinking a Sumatran bean called Gaia. I have it here. Very tasty. It's a natural process. Walking away and just letting there be blank is also recommended for growing your channel. So anyway, we'll get into the song here just a second. Before I do a couple things, as always, I'm not a professional. I don't speak Farsi, please understand. My ability to interpret things is going to be based largely on visuals. And don't be a dick. I try to say this every time. You may not agree with my opinion. You may not like the music. You may like the music. I may not like the music. Let's try to be polite. All right, I don't mind disagreements. Music is subjective. And I love new information. I love when people share stuff with me, because I like to know more about Iran. I don't know that much, and I certainly don't know what it's like for normal people, right? Just people that aren't in the news. So the more information I have there, the better for me. But with that in mind, let's try to keep it polite in the comments. And let's get right into it. This is "DICTATORIE AMAMEH." I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that last word. Hopefully I'm close. There may be a little bit more of a in there. You know, there's not a lot of that in English, not a lot of the gutturals. Anyway, by SHAHIN NAJAFI. Let's get into it.
بختیار اگر اصرار به رفتن شاهنشاه بکند، هم مملکت می رود و هم بختیار می رود و هم ایران می رود و هم ایران می رود.
ما همین اینها را از بین خواهیم. دیکتاتوری عمامه برتر از دیکتاتوری کلمه.
ملت خیابان شد تا با چنین بادا، صد مزرعه ویران شد تا با چنین بادا، چشم همه گریان شد چون یک دفعه ارزان شد، هر مدرسه زندان شد تا با چنین بادا، شب عربد باران شد، شب نام فراوان شد، نان زامن دندان شد تا با چنین بادا، تا با چنین بادا. آن مرد ماه آمد از خم به رفاه آمد تا مالک ایران شد تا با چنین بادا، از راه بعید آمد با ریش سفید آمد، سردستی دزدان شد تا با چنین بادا، تا با چنین بادا. زن سفره گرگان شد سگ صاحب چوپان شد زبرم آسان شد تا با چونین باد یک مفتی بی ارتش با سرقت یک جنبش مرد یک میدان شد تا با چونین بادا ده نسل پریشان شد تکرار شد و آن شد این نقطه پایان شد تا با چونین بادا تا با چونین بادا
حفظ مملکت و آزادی که شما میگید نیست باد میدهد به آزادی مملکت را بر باد میدهد بله ما متجر هستیم
بگید چه احساسی میکنید از برگشت به ایران؟ هیچ.
All right. So first things first, what I can comment on. Musically, I liked it. I enjoy that driving beat. I like the guitar music. The vocals are a little bit more guttural and rough than some of the artists I've been listening to lately, but that can be very effective. I don't mind that at all. Obviously, as I've mentioned, I can't speak to the lyrical content. I know the song is called Turban Dictatorship. I know that the people who are fans of my channel, or at least the people who like my coverage of Iranian hip-hop, I guess specifically, are not generally fans of Khomeini. So I'm assuming this is not a pro-Khomeini song. The comments don't seem to indicate that it is. My country is responsible to a great degree for what's currently existing in terms of the power structure in Iran, which is very unfortunate. I'm generally of the opinion that governments should not meddle in other governments. War is different. I am no fan of war, but war, at least both sides are causing damage to each other, as opposed to just destabilization via assassination and coups and things like that, which my country is good at. You can't argue with results. All right, you can argue with the morals, but we have deposed a lot of foreign leaders in our day. And, you know, my knowledge of the political atmosphere in Iran is not total. I would say probably it's not very good even. But based on a quick little reading, I mean, I know that Iran was more westernized, particularly in like the 60s and 70s, and that a US-backed coup deposed the current Shah and allowed Khomeini to take power. I know that that was because of oil. The current, at the time, in the 70s, Iranian government was looking at nationalizing the oil fields, which should be their right. Let me be clear. If it is your country and your land, you own the resources. This is why I stand with countries like Ecuador and Venezuela and Guatemala that have tried to nationalize their own resources so that their people can benefit from the natural gifts in the ground that are largely being controlled by Western powers, right? ExxonMobil, Shell, British Petroleum, these companies that technically own the oil fields or own the oil refineries or production. So naturally, they don't want locals to take the money away from them that they've been making and use that money to build up the local economy. They're what's his name? Parenti. Parenti said that countries like Guatemala, Bolivia, Congo, places in Africa, they're not poor. They're not poor countries. These countries these countries that we look at as poor because of their access to money, they're not poor. They're exploited. Right? There are lots and lots of resources that these countries could be using to benefit themselves. But because Western powers have seized control of those assets, they are now going to benefit stockholders in London and Los Angeles and New York. Now, with that said, I also understand that some of the movement in the Shah, right, Reza, I don't exactly know how to pronounce his name, but the Shah in the 50s, and I guess but prior to that, had been aggressively stamping out Shia and passing laws against hijab or coverings, to the point of abusing people practicing Shia, ripping the head coverings off of women in public. And I am no fan of religion myself. I am not religious. I was raised religious, but I no longer am. But I respect people who have a sincere conviction to practice their religion the way they believe it is correct, to the exclusion of child abuse, right? I do think there are limits to a genuine religious conviction. But I think if women want to wear hijab, they should be allowed to. Sometimes it's nice to go out in public and not be harassed, right? It is a religious thing, but it's also a practical thing. And there are some women who prefer to be modest. I think they should be allowed. I don't think that it should be legally banned, which is what they're trying to do in France and some other Western countries, and what they did in Iran. I don't think that's right. I think if you want to follow your religion, you should be allowed to follow your religion. I don't think you should be required to follow any religion, as the current Iranian state is trying to impose with the theocracy. I know it's very complicated, and I hope that I don't come across as condescending or ignorant, because I'm trying to understand these things. But I do know that the current status of the political scene in Iran is very oppressive. It is theocratic. It is regressive and tyrannical. And if you have seen or heard me talk about anything in any video, you will know that I oppose tyranny. That is one of my least favorite things. Like I said, please, if you have watched this far and you speak Farsi, or you're from Iran, perhaps, please share with me some information about this video specifically, maybe what the lyrics were about, I can tell that it's about the period in the 70s when Khomeini takes over, but beyond that, I think I saw some French people, maybe Miran, but yeah, beyond that, I don't really have a firm grasp of the politics of this video. I would appreciate it if somebody would be willing to spend some of their time to fill me in. But that'll do it, I think. I've gone a little bit longer on this one than I normally do. That's good Sumatra. I really like a natural process. I may do coffee videos. Just a heads up, if anybody's interested. I may transition a little bit into adding some coffee videos on here because I'm really getting into it lately. But that's a side point. Thank you all for watching, for those of you who do. To my Iranian comrades, critical support and power to you in the struggle. All we can do is keep fighting for a better tomorrow. All we can do is try to make the world better for the people that come after us, even if we don't live to see it. And sometimes that means you go out as a martyr. And sometimes that means that you just put your head down and work for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years to try and make change. It can be unrewarding and tiring and dangerous. But committed activists, sometimes it's not glorious. Sometimes it's not a big full-scale revolution where you get to, go be a martyr for the cause. Sometimes you have to live for the cause, and that is hard. But to those of you who are fighting for a more democratic, more tolerant, less religious future for the Iranian people, my support is with you, and I wish you all the luck and safety. Please be safe out there, drink lots of water, take care of each other, free Palestine, and don't talk to cops.